Welcome to Sliders and Wings, a podcast about the TV show Sliders
and the TV show Wings
and all the other forgotten TV shows of the 90s.
I'm Valerie Temple.
And I'm Rachel Cox. Good evening, Val.
Good evening, Rachel. How are you this fine evening?
I'm good. I had a crazy kid weekend. So it was Greg's birthday yesterday. So we had some neighbors over for pizza and beer and checked out the party layout of the new house. And it was lacking.
Changes will have to be made.
Well, have you ever been to a party where everyone didn't just gather in the kitchen?
No, that's really the spot.
I actually think that it's normal for parties to have a horrible flow, and we just think they should have a good flow because that's what we see in movies where people are stationed evenly throughout the house.
Yes.
There's just even clusters of people throughout the entire first floor of a house, whereas in a real party, everyone's clustered into one space.
They're just all together. Yeah. I was also at a birthday party yesterday. It was Aaron's mom's birthday.
Well, how do you feel about adult birthday parties? Because Oscar had a card for Greg. And I said, okay, the morning of his birthday, I said, go give daddy your card. He goes, no, I'll give it to him at the party. And I was like, Oscar, it's not like he's opening presents and he's 46. Like he's just, people are there and they're going to say happy birthday and that's it. He thought there was going to be presents and blowing out candles. And
a clown.
An 8 p.m. clown.
Oscar's just very disappointed in this party. He's like, wait, what? This party stinks.
And then I invited like some of the neighbors over and I mentioned it was Greg's birthday, but then I was like, I wonder if I shouldn't have. People are less inclined to come if they're like, oh, it's an adult birthday party.
Yeah, it's a surprise birthday party for them.
And then today was a kid's birthday party at one of those insane indoor play areas with indoor moon bounces and slides and arcade games and stuff. Do you know that a few months ago in Australia, a moon bounce floated away?
What do you mean?
It was on the lawn at a school event, and a bunch of kids were in it, and it took off 30 feet. And it dropped and 6 kids died.
Oh my God.
It was a national tragedy.
Oh my God. The moon bounce tragedy.
I was in like a Reddit page of people who were all just talking about the worst childhood injury they've ever heard of. And a lot of the people on there were like, so my friend's an EMT. And I heard of things about a guy basically becoming sterile by getting his caught in the springs of a trampoline.
Oh God.
He tried to do a backflip. Greg wouldn't even let me finish the sentence. So he was doing a handspring. Greg, stop.
No. Do they still allow trampolines?
They all now have like a netting around them. Prevents the testicles getting ripped open and two, from them getting thrown clear. So they're supposed to be mostly safe now, but I still wouldn't buy one.
I remember when we were kids, they were slowly realizing that they were death traps. By the time we were in our teens, my next door neighbor had a trampoline, but her mom was very vigilant about it. She was like, only one person jumping at a time, which isn't fun. It's not fun for whoever's jumping, and it's certainly not fun to watch someone else jump solo.
I think in the 80s we were too scared of quicksand and not scared enough of trampolines.
That's true.
I knew what to do in case of quicksand.
Yeah, and that definitely never came up. It has never come up.
I have one more topical thing to bring up. You've probably heard that Bob Saget died.
Yes.
And Meatloaf.
I know.
But I'm just comparing the aftermath of Bob Saget dying versus the aftermath of Norm Macdonald dying, where everything everyone had to say about Norm Macdonald was how hilarious he was. And there's just clips everywhere of like his funniest bits. And with Bob Saget, people are only talking about how nice he was.
Yeah. It's
I have not seen one clip of a joke.
No.
One joke. But the weirdest thing was finding out that one of Bob Saget's best friends was John Mayer.
That's a weird one.
John Mayer's also like best friends with Andy Cohen.
Huh.
They go to Grateful Dead concerts together.
Okay.
They're both deadheads. I'm kind of curious to see his stand-up, but also scared, so I don't want to.
I've just heard it's very blue.
Yeah, that's all I know about it.
I've also heard things about how like he does bits about running trains on Kimmy Gibbler, and I'm like, I don't need it.
Okay, on to the matter at hand, which is a TV show Men Behaving Badly.
Who's this? Oh, it's a National Geographic special on the rainforest. It's a shame what man is doing down there.
Yeah. Any naked women?
Not yet. When you see how much every species depends on another species, you can't help but be impressed by God.
Oh, no question. He had some good ideas.
Sure.
Like cold beer.
Brilliant. There's breasts.
Where?
No. What I'm saying is that breasts, that's a great idea.
Oh, one of his best. Just think
Think about it. He could have went with like 6 teeth in a row, like on a pig. But no. He said, let's go with 2. Let's make them bouncy. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Don't tell me God's not a guy.
A bad little kid moved into my neighborhood. Well, he won't do nothing right, just sitting there, he looks so good. Well, he put some tax on teachers' chairs and got all the little girls' hair. Now, Junior, behave yourself.
It's an American sitcom that ran on NBC for only 1 season.
Two
An
seasons.
abbreviated season. It's based on a British sitcom. This has literally got the same name, Men Behaving Badly, and the same setup and everything. I take back what I said about Boston Common. This is my January 6th.
What?
Not get a second season. You don't think it's good?
Well, okay. So as a nerd, I watched 2 episodes of the first season, and then I was reading about it. And the second season sounds like it was a real mess because the guy who's not Rob Schneider and Justine Bateman both quit.
Oh, right.
So they both quit. And then the guy who's not Rob Schneider gets replaced by Ken Marino. And I was like, oh, I'm interested. I like Ken Marino. He's funny. So let me watch some Ken Marino episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, is the second season terrible. Everything about it is bad. It's just really, really unfunny. The jokes aren't there. Yeah, it's a mess.
Oh, that's upsetting. Okay, so there's really not that much on the Wikipedia page, but it's set in Indianapolis, Indiana. The show starred Rob Schneider. Everyone knows who he is from Saturday Night Live. He was the copy guy. Ron Eldard, who to me was always, oh my God, who's the curly-haired girl from ER?
Juliana Margulies.
Sorry, they dated forever.
And they met because he was on ER also. They were romantic interests on the show. He played an EMT.
And he's in Drop Dead Fred. And then Justine Bateman, who of course was mega famous for being on Family Ties and being very funny on Family Ties. So basically Kevin and Jamie, the 2 men, are nasty, gross guys that share an apartment. And then Justine Bateman is Ron Eldard's girlfriend, who is like their foil kind of. But basically it says that Eldard and Bateman left after the first season amid rumors that they clashed with Schneider and the show's producers. They were replaced by Ken Marino and Jenica Bergere.
There's conflicting reports because some places say that they left because they clashed with production, but then other reports say that they left because of salary disputes. I assumed that the first episode of the second season would be, hey, it's a new cast or whatever, but it isn't actually. The first episode of the second season kind of wraps up the Rod Eldard character's storyline. He gets married and Rob Schneider is against it. He's like, no, that's lame. What a lame-o, you're getting married. But Justine Bateman is not in it, even though there is a wedding scene. It's just clearly a body double. They just had a lady with long dark hair. You never see her face. So then at the end of this episode, he's married off and he moves away. That's it. So then I was like, well, I wanted to see Ken Marino. Then I had to watch second episode, and the cold open for that episode is just Ken Marino on the couch with a girl, and Rob Schneider comes out of his bedroom and he's in his gross robe underwear type of situation that he's just kind of always wearing on the show. And he's like, oh, I had the weirdest dream. I dreamt that my roommate was that Shep guy from ER, and he was dating Valerie from Family Ties. And then Rob Schneider points at Ken Marino. He's like, and you're my roommate, and you're dating her, and I'm dating the girl down the hall. Okay, back to bed. So he basically just explains what's going on to everybody. Okay, just to catch everyone up, these are the new characters.
Yeah.
And making sort of a lame joke about the people who used to be on the show.
Well, I just remember loving the show. I thought it was so funny, and I had a big crush on Ron Eldard.
Oh, really? He was handsome then. I don't know if I encourage you, but you might want to go to his IMDb page and see the photo.
Is it this long hair thing?
It's a very bad haircut. There's nothing really wrong with him. It's just not a good look. So Ken Marino, it was sad to me watching it because Ken Marino is such a good goofball. And it was very clear that there was only going to be one goofball in the cast, and Rob Schneider was that character. So Ken Marino comes in and he's totally wasted because he's more of the straight man character.
This must have been around the time that Wet Hot American Summer came out. I'm kind of surprised that Ken Marino was on a network show.
He barely was, because this second season ate it hard. They filmed, I think, 13 episodes and only aired 6 of them. And these 6 episodes, he's only in 5 because he's not in the first one of the seasons. I'm sure even though he was on a network show, it's not like anyone knew Ken Marino from this.
But how good was Justine Bateman? So deadpan. Her delivery was just, but it almost seems like she's like, why am I here?
Yeah.
I mean, she's clearly such a natural that she can just pull it off. Wandering on, saying her lines, killing it, and be like, all right, call me for the next scene.
She's so laissez-faire about her delivery. It's very effortless. She's not giving you a lot of energy, but it's still funny.
At the time, I remember thinking that she had just come out of retirement or something, because when I was a kid, she was everywhere.
And then we hadn't seen her in a long time.
Half of my life, I hadn't seen her.
I have a lot of affection for Justine Bateman, just from her being Valerie. I loved her.
It's very different from this character, though, because Mallory was vain. Her whole thing was being stupid and vain, and this character is very clever. I only watched 3 episodes, but her wardrobe, pitch perfect for 1996. She's wearing rib striped tees. She's wearing straight leg jeans with like a chunky belt. Her hair is just, I mean, I remember even the time being like, God, her hair looks like my hair. Her hair is just hanging down. Maybe it's shampooed, I'm not sure, but like it doesn't look bad, but like she looks so natural. I love it. Such a contrast to the way the girls were styled on Friends.
The show does have a lot of babes that come through. Justine Bateman, her character is, I'm a regular lady. I'm great, but I'm not flashy. I'm not like a sex pot, right? But these men, men are dogs. They've got wandering eyes, and all of their eyes are wandering to like big busty blondes. One who is played by Anna Gunn in the first episode. She plays the neighbor.
Oh, good coffee.
Good coffee.
He makes coffee from an old pair of underwear he finds on the floor. He uses it as the coffee filter.
And she's like, it tastes earthy.
And it says here in the Wikipedia page that reviewers found the show's content to be too risque, pushing its brand of gross out humor beyond all but the raciest cable shows of the day. I mean, that was kind of gross, but
yeah, it doesn't seem that risque now.
The show that it was based on had 6 seasons. Never actually seen it.
Well, I watched one episode. I was like, I'm going to do a lot of research for this episode. I had also never seen the British show, so I was like, let me check it out. You know, there's always this talk whenever they make an American version of a British show, people are already, I think, ready to hate it. The British version is better. There's still dweebs out there who say that the British Office is better than the American Office because they want to seem cool, I think. I know you haven't seen it, but the British version is way better.
But Val, that's a bad example. Isn't it better?
That's
if you
a
look at
toss
the
up.
arc of the US show, it goes into this treacly saccharine.
It does.
Like if it had ended earlier, sure, we could make the 1-to-1 comparison, but
I think both of those versions are great in their own way. And they are kind of their own things. The American Office has a different sensibility than the British Office.
Yes, true.
So I think that makes it allowable that they can exist together and it's fine. But often when you're doing a American version, there's always something to compare it to. And a lot of times the American version pales in comparison, at least to the diehard fans. So I wanted to see, hey, is the British men behaving badly that much funnier? Is it better? Whatever. And so I watched the first episode of that. And I have to say that I thought the American version the pilot episode was a lot funnier than the pilot episode of the British version.
Throwing down. Hard to judge by the pilot though, because they pick up steam after that. Greg is very into the young ones, and I'll kind of wander in and I'll watch a couple scenes, and I don't dislike it. I consider myself an Anglophile, but there's a lot of British comedy that I find it hard to get into. Like, I know I should sit down and watch all of the Mighty Boosh because I've seen some of them that made me really laugh, but it just seems like kind of a slog.
That's my feeling about British shows for the most part. I like Black Books with Dylan Moran. Obviously love Absolutely Fabulous. But there is a sensibility out there that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't for me. As an American, I don't know if I'm getting all of the jokes all the time.
So I sent you that Red Letter Media roundup yesterday, and one of the shows that he recommended was the British show called Ghosts.
Yes.
But they just remade it in America, and he said the American one sucks, the British one's good, and the British one is on HBO Max.
I watched that video as well, and that was my takeaway too. I want to watch the British version of that show. It looks funny.
I don't know what episode you watched. I watched 1, 4, and 6. In 6, Jamie falls in love with the cleaning woman called Esperanza. It's actually not as offensive as you would think it would be. He just falls in love with her even though he can't understand what she's saying. And then as a gesture of his love, he goes through her things and finds what he thinks is the contact info for her brother and brings the brother to the US. And then they reunite them and they start deep throat kissing. And realize that it's her husband.
Her husband. Jamie is the Rob Schneider character.
Yes, sorry.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's Jamie and Kevin. Correct? Yeah.
But the very weird part of that show is that the Kevin character, he's concerned because I guess Jamie has this habit of falling head over heels in love with someone, and then it causes all sorts of problems. And at one point, he fell in love with a woman who lived on a Native American reservation. And he said, one time he was about to become part of the tribe and he was about to do his Indian naming ceremony. And I had to drive through and rescue him because he was about to turn his whole life upside down for this woman. And I grabbed him and I saved him from the naming ceremony just in time. And Rob Schneider goes, they were going to call me Jeff. But that's not the weird part. So he's trying to figure out how to keep Jamie from marrying Esperanza because they don't know yet that she's married. And he goes to his coworker, who's this old cranky guy. He says, what should I do? He said, what you need is a distraction. He gives him the name of some woman that works on a different floor from them. And then cut to that woman, who's like a tall, sexy, gorgeous woman, is just hanging out in Jamie and Kevin's house wearing a teddy. Like lingerie, like she's just wearing underwear, and Kevin has made this everything sexy, and he's put like curtains everywhere, and he's put music, and he's gotten beer, and he has her drink a sip of beer, and he goes, listen, it's not important that you're drunk. It's just important that he thinks you're drunk. And so she takes a sip of beer. It's never overtly said what she is supposed to do. She is supposed to be a distraction. They never exchange money. They never have a conversation where he asks her to do it. She just shows up and she's totally GGG, as Dan Savage would say. Totally game.
She's down to clown, yeah.
But I don't understand if she is prostituting herself or is she agreed to just distract him, or is it just like this is what she does for fun? And then
I don't know.
Shows up and he's not interested in her at all. And then she tries to get him interested in her and she kisses him.
Wow.
And then he's not interested in her, so she just goes away. That was very strange.
To me, I would assume that money has exchanged hands. I don't know if I would ever just gratis hang out at someone I don't even really know at their apartment in a teddy. No. First, they would have to pay for me to purchase a teddy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want one of those.
It was just a little one-off joke, but the wheels are spinning in my head. Like,
you're like, I'm trying to figure out, you left out too many scenes for me to understand what is going on here.
And then the other weird thing about the show is that they do these little interstitial voiceovers, and it's a woman's voice, and she'll say, the thing about men is, I don't know, some sort of little joke.
It's very men are from Mars, women are from Venus voiceover, where it's like, men are dogs, men are rascals, you can't trust men. And then cut to the scene.
I was trying to figure out if the voiceover was Justine Bateman, but I don't think it is.
I thought it was. There was no voiceover in the second season. So I deduced that with her quitting the show, she also quit the voiceover job.
You're right. Dang. Sorry, there's an article here. Simon Dunn, scriptwriter and comedian. So this is something he wrote 2 years ago about Men Behaving Badly.
What?
He does deep dives. I thought I'd do a little deeper dive than normal into a US version of a British show. Men Behaving Badly was created by Matthew Carlson based on the BBC series by Simon Nye, blah, blah, blah. It arrived with much fanfare.
I remember this fanfare too. They promoted it as if this was going to be huge.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I don't find much to appreciate in the US version. I'm not sure how to take that, having not seen the original since it aired. I may not enjoy that show nowadays either. What's clear from the outset is that it's horribly miscast. There's some good writing hidden away in the pilot episode, but it gets lost in performance, and none of the characters seem to gel. There's an odd framing device too, with Sarah, played by Justine Bateman, providing a pithy but jokeless voiceover at the beginning of each episode. I'm surprised to know that the show struggled in the ratings, and for its return in season 2, it was retooled, recast, and rescheduled to a 7 p.m. slot on Wednesday.
Oh,
7
boy.
p.m. for a show called Men Behaving Badly.
Yeah, good luck.
And gone was the framing device, replaced with high-minded on-screen quotes from the likes of Anton Chekhov.
What? I missed that. Oh, geez. What were they thinking? Anton Chekhov.
Just a couple of months into the show's run, Eldard and Schneider, the titular badly behaving men, took to the press, probably to drum up some publicity, so they may have been trying to sound provocative. They both expressed boring opinions on political correctness and then convey some stories about how badly behaved they are in real life. So there was a rumor that a whole taping had to be restaged when Eldard and Schneider mumbled the whole script in monotone. A mutiny they claimed was a protest at the way the network was restraining the show.
Oh my God. Wow.
NBC was letting other shows get away with more, and it was actually the network's restraints that made those shows better. Not being able to mention masturbation made Seinfeld's The Contest a classic. Bill McNeil complaining about the use of the word penis framed it perfectly. Oh my God. So accent corner, they're supposed to be in Indianapolis. I don't know.
That is just Midwestern nothing. That is a city like Columbus, Ohio, where it is a non-regional dialect. It's not Chicago. It's not Cleveland. It's just flat and nothing. It's the accent that newscasters study to sound like they're from everywhere. Everywhere and nowhere.
And I've got a very interesting Mad magazine. Very proud of myself. I went through a journey.
Okay. I feel like I didn't try that hard on this one. There was one that came to me and I just stuck with it. I didn't.
Oh, it's yours.
Men Behaving Sadly.
It's a weird title. People don't use adverbs correctly in this country. So I think people would normally say men behaving bad. People would say drive safe.
Right.
Drive safely. Okay. So I started with men behaving daddy. And then I had men madly having. And then I had men be having batter.
Oh my God.
And then I had middling behavior.
Middling behavior is funny.
And then I had men's beehive belfry. And then I had men's beehive and belfry.
There was like a Dr. Seuss quality to what you were.
I was going for a Lewis Carroll.
Yeah.
Twas Brillig and the Slithy Toves did men behaving badly in the belfry.
That was wonderful. I loved that. I do have a game for you.
Yay!
It is a Mad Magazine game. So I went through the Wikipedia page that lists all of the shows that they have parodied in Mad Magazine. I highlighted some, and some I'm going to ask you to guess the Mad title, and then others I'm going to give you their Mad parody title, and you have to guess what the show was.
Okay.
This goes back forever, by the way. There were shows from the 50s all the way through now. All of the shows in the 50s, I'm like, I've never even heard of this show. I have no idea. But I am going to give you one from the 60s. I'm going to have you on the fly come up with a Mad Magazine parody title for a show called Route 66.
Toot 66.
When I was playing this myself, I was like, Route 666, but their title was Route 67.
69 hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little too far. That's like a men behaving badly joke. It's too risque for Mad Magazine. Okay, I picked this one out because you have been watching the Lost in Space Netflix show. So what would your Mad Magazine parody title for Lost in Space be?
Tossed in space.
Mad says, loused up in space.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This one just really got me. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Their one for Columbo was Claude Dumbo.
What?
Claude Dumbo. Okay. I think you're going to be able to guess this one. This is a gimme for you.
Okay.
Give me a parody title for Happy Days.
Floppy days.
Oh, Crappy Days.
Oh,
This is one I'm going to give you their parody title, and you're going to have to guess the show. The Jazzy Slums.
you took me a decade.
70s.
The Jazzy Sloans.
Yeah. I'll just tell you right now that this parody title is a little problematic to me.
Sloans. I mean, it sounds like it's like about a band.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Brady Bunch, and it's not the Partridge Family, and there wasn't a show about the Rolling Stones. Oh, the Jeffersons.
Yes, you got it. When I saw the jazzy, I was like, "Oh my god,
I
that
like this
is!"
show. It's very jazzy.
They're from the slums.
I don't like
I
that
was
show. Sometimes it's too jazzy for me.
Like, oh my god, yikes! Okay, this is another one where I'm going to give you their parody title,
Okay.
and this is a show from the '80s. Double Damp.
It's not Double Dare.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
Double Dare.
Double
Double Damp. All right. Here's their parody title. Also a show from the early 90s. Roach.
Coach.
Yeah, you got it, Coach. You're gonna get this one right away, but Smell Gross Place. Ooh, what is it?
Melrose Place.
You got it. Swine Filled.
Seinfeld.
You got it. Flakier.
90s.
Uh-huh.
Frasier.
You got it.
That was so hard.
That one's a visual. It looks close.
It was F and it was one word.
Yeah, you got it. Flakier. You got it. Okay. Ooh, this is a tough game. This one I really like. Single Louts.
It's not the single guy.
Mm-mm.
Single
Louts. I think you can get it. It's a sound alike.
Okay.
Single Louts. I'll give you.
Out?
Yeah, you got it. Singled out. Okay. This one's funny. Jab.
Jag.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, okay. Wilt and Craze.
Will and Grace.
Yeah, you got it. Wilt and Craze. Okay. I'm going to ask you to guess the parody title. Okay. What do you think Mad Magazine did for Sex in the City?
They couldn't say shitty.
There is a hint. It is more vulgar than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Sex Audacity.
Sluts in the City.
Whoa.
I was like, damn, they went there. Oh my God. Sluts in the City. Jesus Christ. This is a magazine for kids. Okay. This one's going to be hard. The parody title is
Ed.
You got it. How'd you get that? How'd you get
I'm a
that?
professional, Val.
You are good. Okay. You're doing pretty well. This one is a show I know you like. Ailing Us.
Aliens. No, wait, that's not a show. It's also 90s.
2000s. Ailing Us.
A comedy?
No. We've actually talked about this show on the podcast.
I don't know.
Jennifer Garner.
Oh, Alias.
Alias, yeah. Ailing Us is good. I only have a couple more. How about Lots?
Keep waiting for a Blossom one.
I couldn't give you a Blossom one because what we came up with is what they had. Blossom. Yeah.
Lots. I think I've hit a wall. What is it?
Lost.
Oh,
Here's an easy one for you. Tedium.
medium.
Yeah, you got it. We'll end on that one. I'll give you the rest. We'll do a redo of the game.
Okay.
I gotta say that I think we're more creative. We've tried harder. Yeah.
Ours are trippier.
One more thing
Mhm.
before I move on to what you're watching. Do we have a most 90s thing?
Oh, I think I'd probably say Justine Bateman's costuming.
And I'm just gonna say Rob Schneider.
He's still kicking.
He is still kicking.
I guess recently Norm and Rob Schneider and David Spade and Adam Sandler went on like a comedy tour. Like, wow, that's something that's been happening, I guess.
Happening just in the world. It's happening. So the Gilded Age, I feel like you didn't sell it to me properly, which the way to sell it to me is just say, Christine
Baranski.
Ah, I saw the trailer. I was like, God damn it, Rachel. Why did you tell me about this?
And Cynthia Nixon's in it too.
I know.
I don't know what it's about. I'm like, sounds good.
It looks good. Just the idea of the Gilded Age, I'm like, maybe.
As long as there aren't little sparkly things that fly down from a spaceship that give everyone special abilities.
Then you'll watch it. Yeah. Aaron and I have continued to watch Olympics documentaries for whatever reason. The Criterion Collection has this gigantic box set that is basically 600 hours of Olympic documentaries from the beginning of time, basically. We have watched the Japanese one I told you about, Sapporo, and then we watched an Italian one from the 50s, which was really funny to watch because it really shows you how quaint the Olympics used to be and how normal everyone looked, and also how not really that remarkable those athletes used to be. A lady wearing sweatpants and she's got her hair done up in a 50s do, and she's got red lipstick on, and she's just shushing down the mountain at an okay speed. It just really does not look that impressive. But then we followed that one up with an American documentary about Lillehammer. And I was like, oh my God, the athletes are so amazing.
And there used to be an event where they would like ski down a mountain, shoot something, and then do a painting.
Do a painting.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Was that the triathlon? They still have the biathlon, which is cross-country skiing and shooting a gun.
That's crazy.
The Japanese documentary was the one I think that the voiceover really made that event seem more special than I'd ever thought it was, because it pointed out how the cross-country skiing portion of it tires you out so much that by the time you have to stop to shoot, you're shaking because you're so exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And so that affects your ability to be able to aim and do it quickly. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. I guess it's not that weird of a combination then, but it just always seemed so random.
It's funny. It's like a Fear Factor challenge or something.
No, totally.
Trying to shoot this gun now.
There's nothing as seemingly random to me. No one else is like, ride a bike and then throw a javelin, you know? There's rarely combo events like that.
Well, you're going to be an Olympics academic.
Pretty much. I've watched a lot. And Aaron has been impressed by my Olympic knowledge that I'm coming to these viewings with already. Oh, yeah. Bonnie Blair, Deanne Jansen. Oh, yeah. As the documentary is going, I'll give him a little recap of what I know about the athlete they're talking about. And he's like, oh, you know a lot. I'm like, thank you.
It's very rare for a spouse to say to another.
Exactly. I felt proud of myself.
Well, we have some fun stuff coming up. We're doing Diagnosis Murder next week. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing Sisters with special guest star Bennett Madison.
Yes, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts, Rachel?
There are a lot of things we've watched where, and even Boston Common, that I know I was raving about Boston Common, but I couldn't even finish a second episode because the A plot, B plot structuring is kind of dull. Like you kind of see things coming from a mile away, even though it's well done and the jokes are good. Whereas Men Behaving Badly, I felt like it wasn't as dumb. It's not as plotting and it's much lighter.
It did go down easy and they were well-defined characters. It made sense. It was pretty funny. I mean, Aaron was walking by and he's like, I think you like Men Behaving Badly. I won't tell anyone, but I have been hearing you laugh. Just so you know, I've heard you laugh. And I was like, I'm not laughing that much. He's like, you are.
I don't want to like it. I wanted to like it. You're taking me down a peg.
At least the first 2 episodes, that was a pleasant surprise because I don't know why I was expecting it to be bad, but it really wasn't. But the second season was just straight up trash.
We're only going to judge the first season. It was having a hard time competing with Touched by an Angel.
I know. Did you see that?
Yes. Touched by an Angel juggernaut.
I can't imagine those being the same audiences. You're not pulling any viewers from Touched by an Angel. That's literally like they're the devil and they're the angel on your shoulder. Come over here. We're the devil. We've got poop jokes. Do you like poop jokes? America was like, I'd rather listen to this Irish angel Tweedledee. Oh, I'm Monica. I still like to do my Monica.
Yeah, Monica.
Monica. All
Well,
right.
this has been Sliders and Wings with Rachel and Val.
That's
You
right.
can reach us at slidersandwings@gmail.com and check us out on Instagram at slidersandwingspod. All right, good night.
Good night. Bye, Rachel.